All right, fellas, we'll move on to that number 5 spot, talking about the Nashville Predators. And there was certainly a lot of debate about this team amongst the three of us, and the job that Barry Trotz had done in the summer as he entered his first year as general manager of this team. But they're right there in the number 4 spot, 51 points. And so from Dallas and down, you really see the drop off in points, certainly, as you alluded to there, Case. There's
going to be like a 15 to 20 point difference between third and fourth in this division at the end of the year.
Exactly. So Nashville, I think they've been better than we expected. They've had their ups and downs. They're 500 through their last 10 games. What do we have to say about the Preds?
I still don't know how this team is in fourth. I have no clue. I was giggling listening to our episode about me just ripping on this team because I put Harper through the spin cycle having him construct a top 6 out of these forwards, and it was fun. But I like the Stars are scoring. The goaltending hasn't been great. The team is not scoring a ton. They're getting scored on lots. Their penalty kill is terrible. Their power play is mediocre. It's like how they have been, I guess the right things click in certain games and they win those ones. What is this team? I have not much to say about it.
Yeah, I'm also not exactly sure what's going on here, but we did put them in the 5th spot and they're in 4th. So it's one of these teams that we weren't really exactly sure what to expect going into the season, and we're still kind of in the same spot. We're not really exactly sure what to expect right now. Are they going to sell? Are they going to buy? Are they going to hold? Are they, is this a team that even wants to make the playoffs and just get bounced in the first round? Or should this team be selling a guy like UC Saros as soon as he strings together 2 or 3 good games in a row, because like Harper, you alluded to, that's been a problem for this team. The goaltending, UC Saros has not been good this year. In the previous 3 seasons, he's been incredible, top 5, 10 in terms of the advanced stats. So that's been something that's odd, given the fact that this team is currently in 4th. It's odd that their goaltending, which is the identity of this team, or at least it used to be, isn't going. So I'm with you, Case. I don't know who the heck's scoring goals for this team. I don't know how they're getting wins, but I can't see them finishing in the top 4. I see a team like Arizona or even St. Louis leapfrogging them as the season goes on. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're only 1 spot off at the mid-season mark. So it's not crazy that they're here. It's not crazy that they're in 4th, I guess, compared to our preseason rankings, right?
Yeah. I just, again, I'm surprised that scoring hasn't been as much of an issue as we thought it would be coming into the season. They're not scoring a ton, as Case mentioned, but it's funny. We did say that for them to score and get goals in games and that, Philip Forsberg would have to be their leading scorer. He certainly is, but it's funny. We were joking before the start of the season. I think Case, you mentioned it. Forsberg will be their leading scorer with 60 points. Or something. So he's over a point per game right now, and we'll see if he can keep that up. But, O'Reilly's having a great year. Yossi continues to be one of the best defensemen in the league. And Gustav Nyquist as well has kind of revitalized himself a little bit with Nashville. I think he's 4th in scoring on this team, but then it kind of drops off from there. They've got a lot of young players still finding their way. They've got some decisions to make on the blue line. So like we said with the Calgary Flames, it's going to be really interesting to see what Trotz does here, because do you want to make the playoffs and waste 8 days? That great line by Daryl Sutter. Do you want to have is it going to be a waste of 8 days? Probably. We don't see this team winning a round if they get into the playoffs. So is it more important to get in this year and add a piece or two? I get it to reward the group, but you got to be looking at the bigger picture here. And I think that that's something that Trotz and company in Nashville are certainly trying to do as we get closer to the deadline.
I think Daryl Sutter wasted 2 years in Calgary, or however long he was a coach there for, because
he did.
Good God. And I wanted to say this, Nashville, we were kind of ragging on them for not being able to score. They have more goals than Arizona, St. Louis, Minnesota, and Chicago. They have the 4th most goals in the Central, and they're sitting in 4th place.
I'm not surprised about 3 of those teams. So
Chicago, St. Louis,
and Arizona.
Yeah.
Minnesota, I thought they were going to be a better team.
Oh, for sure.
No kidding.
We all thought, and we all thought that, and we'll get to Minnesota here in a little bit. But it just goes to show, and I think we said this too. We figured that the Central was going to be the weakest division of the 4 going into this season, right? There would be those 3 or 4 teams. Then it was kind of wide open from there. There'd be a big drop off. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So